All right, so we're going to do some more features for this video. We're going to do two more. And so we're going to start off with another IPT here. I'm going to go to part. Remember, you can go up to new here or new up here. Any place you want, man, you can go 4 different places to get a new IPT. So we're going to go IPT, and this time we're going to do a sweep. And this is going to be really interesting. You guys are going to have to I hope you can follow along with this. So we're going to start a 2D sketch, and I'm going to start this 2D sketch on the XY plane. And all I'm going to do here is put a circle on here, and I'm going to actually dimension this circle. I'm going to dimension this at 1/4 of an inch, so 0.25. So we're going to go 0.25 on that circle, and again, going to leave this unconsumed. I'm going to go ahead and go, okay, that's all we're going to do for right now. But we're going to add another plane to this, and we're going to add another sketch. Now, this is where it gets kind of interesting. So if you can think about this as being the way that it is right here, it's just, if I look at the right side, it's just a slither. That's the line right there, right? So here's the front. If I look at it from the front, it's just a circle drawn on a piece of paper in essence. Okay, but if I pick this up here and I go that way, it's going to bring this in here. Now you can add another plane to this, and there's a couple of different ways. I can open up the origin here, and I can select the YZ plane. Now this is the first time that we've done a YZ plane, and I can click on that YZ plane, and I can come in here into the center of this, and I can click on the center. That puts the work plane. Let's go here. Let's go YZ. YZ. We're going to go plane YZ, and we're going to put it right there. Notice how when I went there, there's a little X. It's really hard to see that little X right in there, but believe me, there's a little X right in there. All right, so now we have this work plane on here. If I look at it from the top view, whoop, look at that, there's a work plane right there. So that's one way of doing this. You can also go back in and you can just do a 2D sketch and lock it in here. That's another way of doing it. But you got to make sure that it's locked in this particular case, to the center. Now, if we did a rectangle with this, I would just put the work plane on one of the corners of the rectangle. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to put a 2D sketch right on here. Notice again that I go right to the edge of that work plane. It won't highlight unless you go to the edge. So I'm going to click that on there. So now I'm essentially drawing right from the center of that circle. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to come out this way. So I'm going to bring this over here. And this is really important that we do this. I'm going to bring this over to this corner on the view cube, and I'm going to go in here to my line tool, and I'm going to get that green dot right there. You have got to get the green dot, or again, this won't work. Now, if you're more comfortable drawing flat, you can draw this flat. You can move this back. Remember, pushing the middle wheel allows you to do the hand. You don't have to constantly go back and forth to do the hand. Your wheel becomes the third button. I'm just going to come out here. I'm going to really kind of go small in here. I want about, I don't know, maybe a 3 or 4 inch line here. So I'm going to keep pushing my wheel forward a little bit and moving that over. So there's a 4-inch line somewhere around there. And it really doesn't matter because we're just going to have a little bit of fun with this. Now, the key here is that you can't come back to this area right here. You can't make this line smaller than 1/4 of an inch, or else this feature will not work. So I'm going to go up here. I'm going to go to this right side view again. I'm just going to come up, and I'm going to go maybe out a little bit. I'm going to go here a little bit. What I don't want to do is come back on this right here, because what we're going to do is make a tube, and it can't run into itself. Okay, so you got to make it big enough so that it can do some things here. And again, don't make these too bendy. Don't make these bends too tight. And just for kicks and giggles, I'm going to add that 3-point arc. Remember, we got to get a green dot right there. Again, we got to close this up. I'm going to bring this up. I'm just going to kind of make it fun here. I'm going to try and play around with my constraints here and see if I can't. There we go. We're going to going right there, easy on the line. And I'm going to get another green dot. You got to make sure you get these green dots. Okay, and again, we don't want these to be too tight. If we make it too tight right here, this will not work. Got to make it slightly gentle. okay? And I'm just gonna leave it like that, but notice I've got a lot of space right here. Here's the top of my circle right here, and then there's my line up here. So you've got to make sure that when you do this, that you can have plenty of space in here. Now I'm going to add another sketch tool in here that we haven't used before, and that sketch tool is a fillet. This is not a fillet, and it is not like it's not a steak, it's not a fish, okay? But what we can do here is that we can take this fillet, and if we let's make this a 1/4 of an inch fillet right here. And what a fillet does is a fillet just rounds some corners right here. So if we go in here and here, okay, we can fillet this, and you see how that made that smooth right there. And you can also just go to a corner and you can pick up a corner and do it that way as well. Now I'm going to show you how to do some other fillets once it gets finished into its proper form here. But I'm just going to do this just for fun, just for kicks and giggles here, and just to show you another tool that is in here and some other things that you can do, which is a lot of fun. All right, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to finish this sketch. So now I've got 2 unconsumed sketches. Oh my goodness, it's something I told you not to do is have unconsumed sketches. But I'm going to go up to this tool called Sweep. Okay, this is and you can see that, so I'm going to take this sweep, and it is going to tell me down here in my status bar, it's going to say, hey, select a sketch. Well, this is the only sketch that has something that's closed in, and this has got to be, it's got to be a closed form. Okay, so once you get this closed form, it's going to say select the curve or sweep or pattern. So I'm going to select this, and woo! I can hear the oohs and the ahs from here. All right, so I'm going to click OK. And look what you got. You got this really cool thing that just comes out here. Now you can make this go out. You can add different work planes to this. So you can make it go left and go right and go up and go down. And you can make it go on all sorts of different planes, which is really, really cool. You can save this. You can save this as a sweep. Okay, and again, we can take the work plane visibility off. You can come over here to the work plane. You can take that visibility off of there and make it really look pretty cool. I don't know whether this is going to let me do a fillet here or not. It might. Let's see if it will. Oh, look at that. Okay, very cool. So it's going to allow us to do a fillet there. And you can see that you just by touching a corner, right, it's putting in these fillets in there. And it really looks very, very, very cool when you do that. So we can see that from the right side view. You can see how that rounded that area right there. I can even do it to the outside. This is called a fillet when it's concaved. And when it's convex, it's actually called a round. Now, what Autodesk did is Autodesk saved a lot of code by making one tool for fillets and rounds. They really probably should call this tool the fillet round tool. Okay, so there you go. There is our sweep. Okay. All right, the next thing we're going to do, since we have some time here on this video, is we're going to make a coil. So let's go up to new. We'll just go to new here on the quick access toolbar. And we're going to do a standard IPT again. And we're going to go to D-Sketch. And with our coil, what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and use the XY plane again here. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to make a line. I'm just going to come up here, and you don't have to come up very far. Just going to bring this out. Now here, I'm going to definitely bring this out. I definitely want to bring this out. We're going to bring this out. Oh, let's go 1/2 inch or so, maybe 0.4. And we're going to go perpendicular. Notice that I've got that perpendicular icon that shows up there, the little red and black line in the square there. And I'm going to click that. And I'm going to escape. And I'm going to go for circle. So now I'm going to take this circle, and I'm going to make this circle. Let's make this circle 1/8 of an inch. So that's 0.125, right? So we're going to go ahead and make that 0.125. That's going to be our circle right there. We're going to finish this sketch. And this time we're not going to have an unconsumed sketch. What we're going to do is we're going to go to the coil tool. And again, with the coil, we can do all sorts of very cool things with the coil here. And these are things that I'm going to do another video on. I'm going to show you some other really cool things that you can do with these different features. But the more that you play with this, the better off that you are. So let's go ahead. It's asking me, the first thing I'm going to want is a profile. Well, it already selected the profile because I have something that's closed off already, and I only have one thing that's closed off. So now it's asking me an axis. Well, the axis is going to be the vertical axis right here. I'm not going to select this one. I'm going to select that vertical axis. And notice that I've got this green line swirling up. All right, well, I'm going to turn that axis and have it go down just for kicks and giggles. I could reverse the rotation, but I'm going to leave it here. So you can see all sorts of really cool things here. And this time, let's go into some of these other tabs. And all of the features have other tabs in them and other things that you can do. So we're going to leave the pitch here at 1. And you guys learned in Poe last year about pitch. Pitch is from one crest to another crest, and that's the distance. So let's put in 10 revolutions, and look at that. You know, when we go into there, now we got 10 revolutions. Now we got, oh, it's a Tigger tail. There we go. All right, so we can do some really cool things also here. Let's go ahead and put a taper in, and let's make that taper at 10 degrees. And click on OK, and ooh, and ah. And there you go, there's a coil. So when you need to make a spring, when you need to make, going a little bit fast there for that spin. See if I can't make it go a little bit slower here. Okay, so when you make that coil, you can make a spring out of this. You can also make threads with this. You can take away material as a coil. You can make drill bits. You can make all sorts of really fun stuff with a coil. So there is the coil right there. And so that goes over the coil and the loft, or rather the coil and the sweep. And next time I'm going to do a 3D sketch with you and show you how to do 3D sketches. So I hope you enjoyed this, and we'll see you next time.